Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world, one book at a time. Today, we're diving into Mark Fisher's incredible book, Ghosts of My Life. It digs into a system that's all around us, one that's actually changed how we experience time itself, and left us with this nagging feeling that the future's been, well, canceled. At its core, this book puts a name to a feeling I bet you've had. It's that sense of cultural drag, a kind of quiet exhaustion, that feeling that we're all just sort of stuck. I mean, seriously, think about it for a second. Does today feel as futuristic as people in the past thought it would? Why does it seem like so much of our 21st century culture is just a high-definition remix of the 20th century? You see it everywhere. Hollywood's endless reboots, fashion just cycling through the same decades over and over. Fisher says, hey, this isn't just us being nostalgic. This is a symptom of something way bigger. So what does he call this condition? Hauntology. And what he means by haunting, yeah, it's probably not what you're thinking. See, we're not being haunted by the past, not in the old school ghost in the attic way. Fisher's big idea is that our present is haunted by all the futures that never showed up. It's the ghost of the jetpacks and flying cars we were promised, you know? It's the specter of all the different ways society could have been. We're basically mourning a potential that just feels gone. And Fisher just nails it with this quote. It's like we're culturally stuck in the last century, just living through its echoes. That big break, that moment when a truly new culture was supposed to arrive, it just never really did. Okay, so where does this feeling come from? According to Fisher, it's not just a fluke. It's a symptom of some really deep patterns that are just woven into the fabric of our world. First off, there's that endless cultural repetition we talked about. He even has a term for it, formal nostalgia. This is where new art doesn't just give a nod to the past, it actually puts on its clothes and pretends to be it. It's like we've lost the blueprint for creating something genuinely new, so instead we just keep polishing and reselling the old stuff. It's repetition that's just dressed up to look like innovation. And here's where it gets really deep. He links this cultural mood directly to mental health. Fisher's really radical idea is that the huge rise in depression isn't just about individual brain chemistry. He sees it as a direct result of a system that makes every form of stress a personal problem. When we're all told we have to deal with instability and pressure completely on our own, we lose the collective energy to even imagine a different future, let alone fight for one. So what locks this whole system in place? It's an invisible kind of pressure Fisher famously called capitalist realism. This is that gut feeling, that widespread assumption that there's just no alternative to the way things are now. It creates this atmosphere where, as he said, it's easier to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism. And that belief? Well, it's like a massive wall blocking our collective imagination. I know this all sounds a little abstract, so let's try a visual metaphor to make it really click. Okay, picture this. You're walking down a hallway, you're moving forward, you're opening doors, you're looking for a new room, something different. But every single door you open, it just leads back to a room you've already seen. The 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s. You feel like you're making progress, but you're just walking in a circle. You're stuck in a loop. That, right there, is hauntology. And once you get your head around that idea, you start to see those loops everywhere. Fisher's work gives us a new set of glasses, a new language to talk about this weird feeling we all seem to share about time and culture today. So let's just break it down. The 20th century, that was all about moving forward, right? A straight line. There was this feeling of future shock where genuinely new art and music were always emerging. You expected the new. But our century, it's more like this weird simultaneity where all of history is happening at once, especially online. So instead of true innovation, we get repetition. We've basically traded the shock of the new for the cozy comfort of the familiar. So the most important takeaway from Fisher is this: that feeling of being stuck, of being stagnant, it's not just in your head. It is a real cultural condition. We are haunted not by the past itself, but by the shimmering ghosts of all the futures that were promised but never quite managed to arrive. For the full, long-form deep dive into this book and its ideas, follow the link in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.